Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named The Tall Girl in the TIFU subreddit. The post is titled, "I messed up by masturbating. This happened the night before last. I wasn't feeling well all last week, so I hadn't had any intimate time with my significant other or any personal time. I'm up for a promotion at work and have been so stressed that I thought I had an ulcer or was having a heart attack. My significant other came to take care of me, and when he went to sleep, I decided it was finally time to relieve some stress. Everything was going smoothly. I had a fan on for noise and it was dark in the room. As I was hitting the grand finale, my vibrator started blinking brightly because it was dying, so I quickly rolled over to hide the light. As I was climaxing, my back gave out and I went from sexy moaning to loud sobs. However, I was still climaxing and couldn't stop, so I felt my back slipping more. My boyfriend thought I had just had an emotional orgasm and didn't realize I was stuck in place. Now I've missed 2 days of work, had to visit a doctor, and needed 4 prescriptions. XEY said, "Where does one buy a vibrator that can blow out your back?" Asking for a friend. To this, OP said, "Target of all places. No shame in the game." Embarrassed Image said, "I used to manage a sex toy store, and on the first day we opened, I was quite nervous as this was a bit out of my element, even though I had owned my own and had done tons of research into each item we chose to sell. Anyway, my first customer was an old man, and at first I was creeped out, thinking it was going to be a dirty old man. But then he spoke. You could tell that he was even more nervous than I was. He had come for a toy for his wife of over 50 years because he could no longer perform and wanted to keep her happy. So together, the two of us got over our nervousness and awkwardness because we both wanted this little old lady to stay happy and taken care of. That was my first and absolute best story during that period of my life. My other stories are not even close to wholesome, to be honest. Now I can talk about anything sex related very easily and feel a lot like Dr. Ruth." This second post was made in the relationship subreddit by a user named Long Distance Deception. The post is titled, "I have been long distance with my BF for 3 months because he was sent away on a work project. It turns out he misled me when he said temporarily and actually won't be coming back. I had been dating Lawrence for 4 months when he told me he was being sent away for work. He works as a project manager and had to move across the country to help with a new development. I really enjoyed being with Lawrence and was sad that he was moving away. However, I made it clear that I did not want to do long distance. It wasn't for me. I had tried it with other boyfriends in the past with little success. But it's only 3 months, was what he said to me. We talked about it more in depth, and he explained that he only had to be there for the initial launch and to help get things moving, and then they were sending him back after 3 months. We discussed the situation further and I agreed to it. 3 months wasn't bad at all, and it's not like I wanted to be with anybody else. He was an incredibly caring and attentive long-distance boyfriend. It was hard, as all long-distance relationships are, but he put in a lot of effort to make things work. He even surprised me with visits once a month. Well, Reddit, it has been 3 months, and guess what? He's not coming back. He just told me that he was actually sent away permanently, not to help set up, but to run the whole development. It was a big promotion for him. However, he didn't want to let me go, and he knew I was not willing to do long distance, so he basically lied. He figured that if I got a taste of what long distance with him was like, I would change my mind and want to stay with him. He doesn't understand why I am furious. The big part of why I was okay with doing long distance with him was because I knew it was temporary. It's like he tried to trap me into a longer relationship. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do long distance even if he does visit me once a month, but I am especially angry that he doesn't understand why what he did was not okay. He basically stole 3 months from me. He is coming back this weekend. I had a whole thing planned for it. I got us a nice hotel at a nearby beach and booked restaurant reservations. Except now his return is actually just another visit. Update. I am literally shaking as I type this. So much has happened in the mere days since I posted. So after reading and considering all your comments, I broke up with him immediately. I honestly didn't even want to wait to do it in person because I was so angry, and because I had decided to do the romantic beach trip with my best friend instead, so I wasn't going to wait for him to get there. I explained very clearly why what he did was such an awful thing to do to a person. He apologized for lying to me for months. He was sad and hurt about what happened, tried to convince convince me to stay with him and all that, but I was firm and he eventually accepted it. The next day, he was in a Facebook relationship with somebody else. I checked his Facebook and all of a sudden, there were months of posts of him and this new girl visible to me. Posts that he had clearly hidden from me and made available to me now. They clearly had been together for the last 2 months. I freaked out. I called and texted him, but there was no response. I messaged him on Facebook, but again, nothing. He had cut me out completely. I am infuriated and I messaged this new girl on Facebook. I didn't want to waste my time with this, so I typed up a long message explaining our relationship, including screenshots of our texts, pictures of us together, and even photos of gifts and cards he had given me. The new girl responded, "Yeah, he told me you would do this. Listen, from one woman to another, please consider getting some professional help. You can't keep doing this every time he enters a new relationship. It's unhealthy. Learn to move on. I am now blocking you. Please do not try to contact me again." So yeah, that's it. I'm in shock. I'm humiliated. I'm so angry. I'm leaving for the beach with my best friend this evening, which will be much, much needed. Chonkosaurus said, if Lawrence was able to get a big promotion involving moving, starting something up, and running it while maintaining an attentive long-distance relationship with the original poster in an effort to make her stay, and simultaneously create a new relationship strong enough 2 months in that she ignores timestamp messages, then Lawrence does this for sport. Making the Facebook posts available to her was her punishment for making him lose before he said so. Classic Let's said, something similar happened to me when I was 24. Aaron played both of us women for fools. He had told me he was recently separated from his fiancée, Sarah. Over 6 months, Aaron and I slowly built a relationship. When Aaron met my parents, they both distrusted him from the get-go, something that had not happened with the other 4 lads I had brought home. Eventually, my dad put his detective hat on and discovered Aaron's entire other persona on Facebook, complete with updates about his upcoming wedding. I reached out to Sarah with the receipts, and her response was almost verbatim the one the original poster received. My dad tried reaching out, explaining Aaron had met the family and was portraying himself as single and calling himself my boyfriend. Aaron threatened to stab my dad for getting involved. I moved on. About a month later, she walked into my workplace, explained who she was, and told me she was ready to hear the truth. We went for beers and we both laughed and cried about how stupid we had been. I got off better than Sarah. He had put her in the hospital after she confronted him with all the evidence she had gathered. 14 years have gone by. I'm 38 now and I hardly ever think of him. 6 months is nothing in your life. The betrayal and pain will pass if you allow it. This final post was made by a user named him Hedgehog in the relationship subreddit. The post is titled, "I finally got the courage to confront my lecturer. All my problems began about 2 months ago when she accused me of closing a dog's tail in his crate door. What happened was that the dog's tail slipped between the bars and must have somehow given the illusion that I'd trapped his tail. I definitely did not, and the dog did not make any noises. She saw me and said, 'Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?' I looked at her confused and said, 'Huh?' Then she wandered off. It only registered later that she must have thought I'd trapped the dog's tail. Anyway, since then, she has been downgrading all my work. Before, I was getting A's and B's. Now I'm getting C's and E's. We did an experiment where my 34-year-old brother helped me with an essay. He said it's definitely worth an A, if not an A+. Well, lo and behold, last Friday we got our results back. I got a D- and all my classmates were getting A's, B's, and C's. So now I knew for sure it was personal. Over the weekend, I had a bit of Dutch courage and messaged her personally, telling her that I have evidence to support my claims. I said I know she's holding a grudge against me about the incident that didn't even happen. I also asked why she didn't hold me back after class to explain her concerns, as it took me a couple of hours later to realize what she meant when she was rude to me. I said she could possibly be sabotaging my future career due to false assumptions, and if the issue isn't rectified by the end of the week, I'll escalate it to higher authorities. I know she read my message and she hasn't been in at all this week. Today is the 3rd day without her. What does this mean? Should I see management about this or just wait it out? It's worrying me greatly, as this one imagined incident may end up sabotaging my career and costing me thousands of dollars. Also, before anyone asks, yes, this lecturer marks our work. Okay, to be honest, I just thought she'd read the message, think on it, then apologize and fix my marks. Then we could sweep it under the rug. In my mind, I thought it was decent to give the person who could be costing me my career and money the chance to make things right before escalating. Update: I have just been to an appointment with a superior. They were extremely understanding and I showed all my evidence. Yes, 2 classmates helped out. Update 2. I ended up seeing the superiors and informing them of everything that had gone on. They were actually really understanding. One of the superiors took my essays overnight to review them, and from the way he worded his conversation afterward, it was clear that he did not think they were worth such low grades. He was glad I had brought this to his attention, and although he could understand my frustrations, said I should have come to see him first instead of messaging the lecturer on Facebook. He also implied that it's best if the Facebook group is removed. Amazingly, I was also told that she is only lecturing one more class before she changes positions. I am extremely relieved. I also managed to get a part-time position in a vet clinic, which will help me greatly. So things are looking up, and things weren't as bad as they were made out to be. Wask said, I had a professor who wrote on their syllabus that if you had 3 typos in a paper, they would stop reading. There were 2 typos on the 1-page syllabus. So I raised my hand and said, if there are 2 typos on the syllabus, do we not have to follow it? She did not like me after that. It was an admittedly confrontational way to point out that she was a hypocrite. It was a media studies class, and she once spent 5 minutes describing the actions of a character but used the wrong character's name. I corrected her, and she insisted she was right. She wasn't. She ended up leaving mid-semester mysteriously, and we got a guy who knew nothing about the show. He asked us to just write a final paper about it. Hellfire Chris said, obviously OP handled this badly, but my god, the number of people defending this unreasonable teacher is absurd. If you think a student has injured an animal, you do not walk away and just start marking them down arbitrarily. Her first priority should have been checking on the dog, then having a proper conversation with the student about animal welfare. It's not her job to explain why you're doing poorly. Yes, actually it is. That's what a teacher is for, especially if it's related to a single incident that wasn't even verified. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.